Hello everybody, this is the biology review for grade 8 semester 1 at the International School of Innovation. First, we're going to start with the part 1 for semester 1 for this year is the immunity or the immunology. Chapter 1 is talking about the immune response. Mainly we're going to talk about the self and the non-self. This princess is feeling peace in the presence of the prince. So, what does this mean? What should they have done? What do they do? What is the role of an army in a kingdom? Every one of you knows that an army in any kingdom, its role is to protect and defend this kingdom. So, what's about our body? What's about humans? Are we living in a safe environment? This is the big question we have to ask ourselves about. Environment contaminated with viruses, bacteria, and pathogens as well. So, what do we have to do to protect our body, and what is the mode of protections in our body? So to start first, what is the immune system? Immune system is the army, like the army in the kingdom, is the army that protects our body against the harm around by bacteria, viruses, pathogens, parasites, and so on. Next, what is meant by the role of the immune system? The role of the army is to protect and defend the kingdom, while the role of the immune system is to defend the body against any possible invasion by bacteria, viruses, and parasites. So the main role of the immune system is protection. Next, we're going to go to the word what is immunity? Immunity is known to be the body's ability to respond to foreign attacks, either by parasites or bacteria or viruses or so on. So the main role of the immune system is this. So this is known by immunity. Now we're gonna go to what is immunology. Everything that ends with ology is a science. So immunology is the science that studies immunity. You study the immune system, the cells of the immune systems, the organs of the immune system, the mechanism of action, how do they protect the body, what is the mechanism, how do they protect our body. So immunology is the science that studies this. Is the army made up of single unit? Sure, it's not. We have in the army terrestrial, we have naval, we have the airplanes, and so on. So they have many units. As such, our immune system is composed of more than one unit. It contains more than one type of cells that are involved in the protection of our body against microbes, against bacteria, and against the parasites. So this is one type. This is monocyte, this is lymphocyte. Also we have neutrophils. So all of them, they are going to be involved in something called the immune system. This immune system contains cells, tissues, and organs. For example, the Lebanese army is going to consider the Israeli army as a non-self. So the Lebanese army is going to attack the Israeli army because it's considered as a non-self. It doesn't belong to the Lebanese country. That's why the Lebanese army, it won't attack the Lebanese citizens. Why? Because the Lebanese citizens, they belong to this country. They belong to the Lebanese country. That's why they are considered as a self for Lebanon. So they won't attack. So French army is going to protect the French president, and they are not going to attack him because he belongs to this country. Why? The Lebanese army is going to attack the French because the French army is considered as non-self. So the big question here, what determines who the army should attack? First, this is the body. What Ali's immune system attacks Ali's lungs? Why and why not? Would the immune system in my body attacks Ali's lungs? We will see later on in the coming slides. Ali is a normal person. Ahmad needs a lung. Would Ali donate a lung to Ahmad? We will see later on. Okay, so let's move here. What would Ahmad's immune system do in this case? So, immune system, the main role is defend, attack citizens or foreigners. So, for sure, it's going to defend the citizens, and for sure, it's going to attack the foreigners. So, the immune system, as I said, defends its own citizens, and sure, it will attack what's known by the foreigners. What the meaning of self and what the meaning of non-self? Self and non-self, they are the big question here. So self is known by everything that belongs to your body, like your hand, your lung, your kidney, your pancreas, your leg, your ear, your nose, your eyes. All of them, they are considered as self. While the non-self is known to be everything that does not belong to your body or to your body organs, like your friend's hand, your friend's kidney, your friend's lung, your neighbor's kidney, your neighbor's hand, leg, and so on. Which would the immune system attack? The self or the non-self? The immune system, for sure, is going to attack the non-self, because the non-self is a foreigner from your body. So let's develop Fourier's model for the self and non-self. First, how does the immune system distinguish the self from the non-self? This is the big question in our lesson here. As such, what is HLA? HLA is known to be the human leukocyte antigen. Human leukocyte antigen is known to be found on the surface of the nucleated cells. These HLA, human leukocyte antigen, it determines which one is the self and which one is the non-self. So it's the biological identity marker that helps the immune system to distinguish the self from non-self. So what is HLA? Human leukocyte antigen is the biological identity that determines which one is a self and which one is a non-self. The cells of the same body and those of identical twins, they have the same HLA, while the cells of different persons, they have different HLA. Each person has a specific HLA on the surface of nucleated cells. Nucleated cells, they are the cells that have nucleus. So red blood cells, they don't have a nucleus, they are called anucleated, so they don't have HLA. That's why we can't donate blood. Identical twins, they have identical human leukocyte antigen. They have identical HLA. Let's develop Fourier's model here for the self and non-self using now HLA terms, which is the biological identity that determines which one is self and which one is a non-self. So the self, this is the definition of the self. Definition of the self is everything that belongs to your body and they have the same HLA. So self, the key word is same HLA. For example, this is an example. HLA, but they have the same HLA. My hand is example about self. So non-example is my friend's hand. It doesn't belong to my body. Non-self, everything that doesn't belong to my body and they have different HLA. Example about this, my friend's hand. Non-example is my hand, which is self and it's not a non-self. What is a graft? A graft is a transplant of a tissue or an organ from one side to another, either in the same body or from one body to another body. For example, I can donate a skin graft from my hand to my thigh, and I can donate my kidney to Ali, my friend. I can donate a kidney for him. This is called a grafting. So graft, it has four main types. First, we have something known by autograft, something known by isograft, something known by allograft, and something called xenograft. First, autograft. What is autograft? Is the graft where it's transferred from one body side to another side in the same body. For example, from my hand to my side to my thigh, and another example, from my hand to my friend's hand. Second type is called isograft. Iso, identical twins. So it's the graft that's done between two identical twins. Samir's kidney is transferred to his identical twin. This is called isograft. Samir's kidney transferred to his sister twin. It's not identical twin, so it's not an isograft. Third type is allograft. A graft is a graft that's done between different individuals that belong to the same species. For example, from Maya to Rilla, they belong to the same species, which are humans. Why? Non-example, from a cat to a dog, they belong to different species, cats and dogs. Last type of graft is called the xenograft. It's done between different individuals of different species. For example, from a cat to a dog, they are different species. While from a Maya to Rilla, they belong to the same species, which are humans. So this is not a xenograft. Notes what affects the fate of the graft. The fate of the graft is mainly affected by the degree of similarity between the HLA molecules between the donor and the recipient. If we have a high degree of similarity, then the graft is accepted. If we have a low degree of similarity, then the graft is rejected. Donor is the one that donates or gives, while the recipient is the one that receives. For example, I donate a liver to my friend Hassan. So I am the donor. I gave the kidney or the liver. And Hassan is the one that receives. It's called the receiver, or it's called the recipient. Second part of this semester is going to be the immune cells. What are the different immune cells? Before we start, I'm going to talk a little bit about some informations that are related to our blood. Blood, as we know, flows everywhere in our body. We can't live without blood, this is sure. The heart is going to pump all the blood to all our body cells, supporting them with oxygen and food. Blood also carry proteins, and they have a cell fragment. They are very important, called platelets. They have the role in blood clotting where there are been an injury. Now we're going to move to the blood cells. Blood cells mainly, they are divided into two types. We have red blood cells and we have white blood cells. So what are the red and what are the white? Red blood cells, they are known by erythrocytes. They are small in size, many in number. They are red in color. They are anucleated. They don't have a nucleus. And the role is to transport oxygen and carbon dioxide. While the white blood cells, they are called leukocytes. What is the role of them? They are defenders of the body system. They are immune cells. They are large in size, few in number, the opposite of the red, which are small in size, many in number. They are not red in color, they don't have red color. They are nucleated, meaning that they have nucleus. This is a slide showing the red blood cells, which are about 5 to 6 million cells in 1 milliliter, which are high in number. Why? The white blood cells, they are about 5,000 cells per milliliter, so it's times 10 to the power 3 the difference. This is the red blood cells. This is the figures showing the immune cells. This is different types, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to talk about them later on. So these are three different shapes or three different immune cells. Cells involved in immunity. This one, it looks like a horseshoe shaped. This has the horseshoe shape. This cell is called monocyte. So what we're going to know about monocytes. Monocytes, they are the cells involved in immunity. This is the cytoplasmic membrane. This is the horseshoe shaped nucleus. It looks like the horseshoe. That's why it's called horseshoe shaped nucleus. And this is the cytoplasm here. So what are the properties? They are large in size, have horseshoe-shaped nucleus, flow in blood vessels, they can cross the capillary walls, and they have the maturation into macrophages, which later on have a phagocytosis. What is phagocytosis? Is eating other cells. Second type, if you see here, the nucleus has many lobes, 1, 2, 3, or 4 lobes. They are called granulocytes. The name comes from the granules. So we have here granules in the cytoplasm. So granulocytes, they have multi-lobed nucleus and they have granules in the cytoplasm. So they are large in size, multi-lobed nucleus, have granules in the cytoplasm, flow in the blood capillaries, and they cross the capillary walls. And the role is phagocytosis. If you see here, number 6, number 5, number 4, number 1, they are the similar between granulocyte and the monocytes. Other type of cells that are involved in immunity, they are the lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are divided into mainly two types, either the B lymphocytes or the T lymphocytes. B lymphocytes, they are large in size, as we see here. They have large rounded nucleus. This is the large rounded nucleus. They have a little bit small cytoplasm, and the main role is to secrete antibodies. These antibodies, they are going to kill the non-self. So this figure shows the composition of B lymphocytes. We have cytoplasmic membrane. This is the cytoplasmic membrane, and this is the large rounded nucleus. This is the cytoplasm in this region, and we have the Y-shaped proteins. They are called the antibodies. The last type here we're going to talk is the T lymphocytes. T lymphocytes, they are large in size, have large rounded nucleus, have small cytoplasm as those of the B lymphocytes, but here they are grown by killer cells. They use their TCRs, T cell receptors. They use the TCRs to kill the non-self, while the B lymphocytes, they secrete antibodies. So this is the figure, cytoplasmic membrane, this is here. We have the large rounded nucleus, the small cytoplasm, this is here, and these are the TCRs. Anytime you have to draw a figure, you have to draw it inside the box using a pencil. You can draw inside the box, and you have to give it a title. Don't forget these notes in your exam. Molecules involved in immunity, the first is antibodies. This is a Y-shaped structure. They are Y-shaped proteins. They look like the letter of Y. That's why they're called Y-shaped proteins. They are secreted by B lymphocyte into blood, and they are specific, meaning that every antibody can bind to a specific antigen. This is the antibodies and this is the antigen. For example, every antibody can bind to specific. For this one, triangular, it binds to this. This one is, let's say, shape of rectangular or somehow. This is circular, it can bind to here. Question number 1. Let's see here. Indicate the true statement and correct the false one. Flu virus is classified as self. This is false, is classified as a non-self. So correction should be in full sentence. So flu virus is classified as a non-self. You have to write it in full answer in the exam. And you have to write false completely, not F. If it's true, you have to write true completely and not T. Hydrograft is a graft that's done between two identical twins. This is true. Red blood cells, they don't have a nucleus, so they don't have HLA. So sure, this is true. HLA similarity between the donor and the recipient affect the graft. Also, this is true. Digestive system defend the body against bacteria, virus, and parasites. Sure not. It's not the digestive system. It's the immune system. So we have this is true, this is true, and this is true. We have three truths here. Number 2, 3 and 4, while 1 and 5 they are false. So 1 you have to write false. Flu virus is classified as non-self. Number 2, number 5, sorry. Number 2 is true, number 3 is true, number 4 is true, number 5 false. You have to say not the digestive system, the immune system. Immune system defends the body against bacteria, viruses, and parasites. Okay, you have to write in a full answer. Number 2. So here we have in a need for a kidney. Rami and Maha, they got married in 1996. First, Maha gave birth to identical twins. So Maher and Jalal, they are identical twins. Then she had a girl named Zana. At the age of 7, they found out Maher has a serious problem in his kidney. So received a graft from Jalal. Jalal, his identical twin. Later, even Jalal get the same problem. So the doctor checked among the family members. He decided to transplant a kidney from his sister Zana. This is summarized in the following figure. You have to describe the following experiment. This figure, we have a legend. This arrow means transfer, and this one means result. Jalal first transferred a kidney graft to Maher. The result is the graft is accepted. You have to use the legend. Second case 2, Zaina transferred a kidney graft to Jalal. The result is, this means the result, the graft is accepted at first but rejected after 3 months. In the first case, which one is the donor? Sure is Jalal. The recipient is Maher. Second case, who's the donor is Zaina and the recipient is Jalal. So in case 1, a kidney graft is done where kidney transfer is done from Jalal to Maher, and the result is the graft is accepted. While in case 2, a kidney graft is done where kidney transfer is done between Zaina and Jalal, and the result is the graft is accepted at first but rejected after 3 months. Moving to question number 3. Question number 3, graft tolerance. When an individual receives graft of his own skin, this graft is rapidly integrated into the surrounding skin. However, a skin graft from another individual is rapidly destroyed. It is rejected. Every human has the capability to recognize and accept what belongs to his own body and to recognize what is foreign. General markers are exposed on the membrane of all nucleated cells in the cell that has a nucleus, and they represent the biological identity which is unique to each individual. Number 1. Pick up the statements that show the 2 types of graft. Why an individual receives a graft of his own skin. What do we call this? Own skin, it's called autograft. And when a skin graft from another individual, this is called allograft. Pick the statement that shows the function of the immune system. Every human being has the capability to recognize and accept what belongs to his own body and to recognize and reject. This is for question number 2. This is the statement. This is done. Name the generic marker mentioned. Mainly they are HLA and MHC, major histocompatibility complex. According to your knowledge, name the other types of graft. We have other types of graft. We have xenograft and isograft. So the statements, when an individual receives the graft of his own skin, is the skin graft from another individual. The statement that shows the function of the immune system, every human being has the capability to recognize and accept what belongs to your own body and reject what is foreign. What are the generic markers? HLA, human leukocyte antigen, MHC, major histocompatibility complex. 4. Xenograft is a graft that is done between different individuals of different species, while the isograft is done between 2 identical twins. Okay, so pay attention to these notes in your exams. Semester 1 exams are near. They are about the next 2 weeks maybe. So pay attention to these notes and study well these notes for the coming week. Thank you. Bye bye.